MW tells her story, ensuring the sacrifices, accomplishments, and resilience of black military women are not only remembered but celebrated. And today we have a special reason to celebrate. Please join me in congratulating the New Orleans chapter of NABMW as they mark their 2nd anniversary this year. Your commitment to service, your dedication to preserving our history, and your positive impact on the New Orleans community are truly commendable. On behalf of the New Orleans City Council, thank you. Thank you for telling and preserving their stories, lifting up future generations, and reminding us all of the power of service, sisterhood, and legacy. Congratulations once again, and may your work continue to inspire for many years to come. Now, if we get some introductions, that would be fantastic, and I love your hats. They're absolutely amazing. Who wants to start?
I guess I'll start here.
Okay, you'll start.
Hi, good morning. I'm Stacy Henry, and I serve as the secretary.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Dina Watkins.
Good morning, I'm Gwen Meredith and I serve as a parliamentarian.
Good morning, I'm Belinda Hill. I'm the president of the New Orleans chapter.
Good morning, my name is Donna King.
Good morning, I'm Elma Renault, I'm a member.
Good morning, I'm Brahita Reed. I'm the event coordinator.
Good morning, I'm Starlette Smith, and I serve as the membership director.
All right. Well, I know we have a special connection between council staff and a member today. Where's Justin?
Right there.
Come up here. Do you sit down for a second and say, how you go? Your mama gonna be up here and you're not gonna say nothing. You were raised better than that.
How you doing?
Yes, he was.
Good to see you, Mom.
Good to see you, son.
There you go.
Yes, everybody, this is my son, and I actually was, let's see what the word was, drafted, enlisted, whatever. He was 5 months old, and I was sent to Desert Storm. So I have a real, good connection with my son, but I also had to serve my country. So I had to leave him at 5 months old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he turned out okay.
Oh, yeah, I was doing
We like him. We like him. He's all right.
And that's part of her story.
Yeah, that's part of her story. It's going to be, yes. So we sincerely appreciate your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here today. It is so important, especially during this time in the nation where we have people aggressively trying to erase history,
Yes.
particularly black history, that organizations like yours are the ones that are going to preserve the history past these times to make sure we do not forget. Because as the federal government scrubs history off websites, we desperately need organizations like yours to make sure that this history does not go anywhere and continues to be told for generations to come. So thank you for being here. Thank you for letting Justin and I be a little tiny part of the larger her story.
Yes.
And I'm just very excited to have you today. I'm going to bring down this prop, take some pictures.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to take it from up here. You guys can stay.
All right, good morning, everybody. This is now Board of Review. The council sits as the appellate body for recent assessments. I'm going to call this meeting to order on October 9th at 9:30 a.m. I am here. Council President Morell is here. Council Vice President Moreno is here. Council Member Thomas is here. Council Member Green is here. We have 5 members. We have a quorum. And with that, we will turn it over to Mr. Spivey for the presentation for Hammond and Gaynor. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Scott Spivey. I'm here on behalf of Hammerman and Gaynor. We had the pleasure of serving as your hearing program managers again this year. And for a reminder, I know all of you know this, but for the record, for lack of a better term, we're in the middle of the quadrennial right now. So the next quadrennial will be tax year 2028. This is for tax year 2026. These are the numbers over the last many years. That you notice in 2020 and 2024, those are the large appeal years, the quadrennial years. Right now, this year we had a total of 760, which is the total number of hearing results were presented. The results for the hearings are broken down by districts in the manner in the past. So District A had 156 appeals, District B 242, District C 166, District D 106, and District E 52, with 38 personal property appeals. You see the breakdowns on the recommendations for the reductions for District 8, 8.29%, District B, 5.87%, District C, 6.05%, District D, 18.59%, District E, 9.5%, for an overall recommended reduction of 6.99%. There's a couple things in there that show they're kind of a little bit of an outlier. One, for example, is District D with 8.59%, and just a little bit of an explanation for that is the fact that this year there was a change to Louisiana Revised Statute 47-1989 that makes clear that the assessor does not have the legal right to make any changes from the Board of Review decisions during the quadrennial. So any decisions that were made by the Board of Review over the last couple years, even if the assessor agreed that the reduction should occur, they could not make the change. So for some of the larger commercial properties where our current market has the reductions were proper, the assessor came with recommendations for those reductions. So again, it shows us a larger percent than it normally would be.
Mr. Spivey, hold one moment. We're having some technical difficulties, but I saw Councilmember Thomas press the button.
Yeah, but when did that ever change?
The law changed January 1st, 2025.
In 2025, okay.
Yes, sir. Prior to that, it was specific that they could not change anything from the Louisiana Tax Commission.
Right.
But this year is the first year that it's very clear that they cannot make any changes to the Board of Review's decision.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And the other thing is just the low number of appeals kind of demonstrates the fact that the assessor's values were on point, but those who actually appealed were those that needed reductions to the tune of about 7%.
Mr. Spivey, just one point of clarification.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned we're in the middle of this process. Is this reduction of 6.99%, almost 7%, typical of what you'd expect to see in a year such as this, other than the outlying event that you explained to Councilmember Thomas?
Yes, sir. So what I've put now before you is tax year 2025, 24, and I'm going to show a couple more. But last year it was 3.06%. During the quadrennial, it was 16.78%. 21% the year before that. Pre-IDA was 8.3%. Post-IDA was 10%. So, yes, it's about average, again, with an outlier for one particular district, that without that, the number would have even been lower.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. All appeals were scheduled to allow the appellant to participate by Zoom, video, or teleconference, as well as in person. The venue for the in-person appeals were scheduled for the Delgado Student Life Center and the Dolphin Den downstairs. The notices were put in the paper as required by law on August 29th and September 5th, and calls were made to all of the appellants directly. We still had problems with mail again this year, so we still had a decent number of letters returned. but we were able to speak to everyone between the emails, the texts, and the phone calls. Hearings were conducted from September 15th through September 26th, and once again, the volume was low again this year. On the Orleans Tax Appeal website that we've created for the program, on it is actually all of the information for the individual's appeal, telling them their appointment date, time, and actually had the time, the phone number, and the links that they could use to zoom in to the conferences. The hearing guidelines, which I've mentioned before, is that the hearing examiner does not tell the appellant or the assessor's rep the recommended property values because the decisions are to be made by y'all. No-show hearings are administratively processed. Every effort is made to provide options for attending by phone, alternate schedule, etc. Over the past 15 years, attendance status has no statistical significant effect on the success of an appeal, which is to say, for those that couldn't make it for whatever reason, since it's such a small block of time, once again, if they provided the evidence, the change recommendation was presented to y'all. Tax appeal toll-free number was available 24/7 throughout the year and will continue to be so. Updates are provided to the council fiscal office on an as-needed basis. Letters will go out once a decision is made by the Board of Review in the format that you see here, which will be in the same format as in the years past. Subsequent to the hearing, after the council certifies the results to the Louisiana Tax Commission, we will continue to work closely with the LTC to ensure that all appellants' information is presented to the LTC, verify that the appellants receive the determination letters, respond to questions about reasoning, evaluation, and continue to improve the appeals process. And that concludes the presentation, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. First, let me ask this. I don't see any comment cards, but I want to make sure nobody in the audience has any questions, comments. Seeing none. Are there any online comments? None. Any comments from the dais?
Yes.
Council, why don't we just go Councilmember Green?
Yes. I would like to ask you to turn to results total tax year 2026.
The ones for this year, yes, sir.
Yes. I know I made that seem more complex than it was. Can you tell the public the $12 million figure, what that represents?
Right, so...
There's a reason that I'm asking you like that. But
Yes, sir. So that is the assessed value change. So the fair market value change was $105,522,547. And if it was just residential properties, it would be 10% of that. The reason it's not 10% is because that includes both commercial and residential. Commercial has an improvement value of 15%. And so the $12 million is the reduction of the assessed value from the parish-wide assessment recommendation that was provided by the assessor prior to the hearings of $5,606,896,970.
I'm sending a message to people through your comments that it is worth making the appeal. At the end of the day, assessments were lowered by $12 million for tax year 2026 because the appeals were made. I have too many people say, oh, I'm not going to get anything done. It's never going to happen. They're going to stick with it what it is. And I can only emphasize to them as I go to community meetings that you must take the time to go to the assessor's office to do your requests, but also to pursue beyond that to the tax commission and the like. So in a nutshell, $12 million in assessments were reduced based on the fact that people made appeals. It's unlikely that you're going to go there and someone is going to give you a higher assessment.
Correct.
So it's worth it. I'm looking at you and I'm looking at the public. There's a process that's created. It goes through through channels. It's done for your benefit. Please take advantage of it. And if you have a question as to how you can question your assessment even beyond the assessor, ask. Ask the assessor.
Absolutely, and built into this and part of the appeals is you always have a certain number of people who may or may not understand their disability status or other kind of freezes that are involved. And so the assessor's office provides that information, and should they go to hearing, we're able to address it, which includes in some cases a recommendation that a freeze be removed temporarily so that their property can be reassessed.
Right. It's important. And I've spoken to enough people, and I'm just emphasizing
to the thousands who are watching that the bottom line is that it is worth it to take the time to appeal. Please ask the question of the assessor and to call your council member's office if you don't get the answer. Even though we don't make that final determination, we can help you to understand the appeals process.
Yes, Councilman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Councilmember Morrell.
Just really quick. I mean, I think it's important because while I was out doing coffee with the council member, I would often run into people who would complain about their assessment, and when you would explain the assessment appeal process, many homeowners do not understand that they can appeal assessments. Now, I say that because until you do the first step, which is the original appeal, they can't even get to you. And I think a challenge is that, one, people are not educated on, A, that they can appeal the assessment, and B, if they disagree with the assessment after the appeal, they can appeal to you, to the Board of Review. And I think as a council, we are probably going to have to look at the HGI contract about how we can educate people on the appeals process going into when the rolls are opened. Because I think right now, no offense, it does not behoove the assessor to aggressively educate that he can be appealed. And I think right now, if we are relying upon individuals in the assessor's office to educate people, there's one step beyond them. I think that's kind of a recipe for failure, because I can tell you that, like I said, I ran a lot of people. The ones that did appeal to the assessor, they were literally gobsmacked when I said, "Did you appeal to the Board of Review?" And they're like, "What is that?" And it's like, so I think perhaps maybe what we should do is potentially go as far as including in their assessment the entire appeals process, because people do read obviously their assessment. If we included just a letter saying from the council saying, and by the way, you can appeal this to the assessor, and if you disagree, you can appeal to the Board of Review, you'd see a lot more activity. And I mean, I'm not trying to create more work for ourselves or more work for you or to negatively impact the city's fisc, but we have to let people know they have a sense of agency if they believe their assessment is wrong. Because it is very frustrating when I talk to people who are like, to this day, who are saying, my assessment went up 20, 30%, and the people around me, their assessment went up significantly less. And I think that it really creates kind of a festering situation where there's a lot of resentment towards the city and even their neighbors, and they may not realize their neighbors used the appeals process to bring it down, and they did not. So I'll work with you, the council will work with you to see what those options are, but I think potentially including just an explanation of the appeals process with the assessment might lead to some better outcomes. Thank you.
Yes, Councilmember.
Mr. Spivey, two more things. One is the reduction is $12 million. Do you have at your fingertips or close to it what the total assessed value of property was this year?
So if you look on the green portion here, I actually put that in just to make sure. And so in the green, you'll see those were the assessor's values that he presented, and he did provide in the caveat that that's an estimated. But the assessment, the total assessment was $5,606,896,970.
I raise that issue because I'm looking at Councilmember Green and my colleagues. While we're facing this financial crunch, $12 million out of $5 billion is truly a very small decrease. And as Councilmember Morrell said, people have a right to appeal into that process. And so I think that's important. But I also want to point out that these reductions are not so dramatic that they should affect the bottom line significantly. The other thing, just as a quick point of personal privilege, I also want to thank the work of HGI for the Sewage and Water Board bills, too. We've seen a dramatic reduction in those complaints, and I didn't want to let that opportunity pass without saying thank you. So with that, unless anybody has anything else, well, there's two resolutions. The first is simply to allow there to be typographical or other changes as necessary in case those should arrive. I've moved, seconded by Councilmember Morrell. Mr. Burnside, none on this? Okay. Just want to make sure. 5 yeas, no nays. With myself, Councilmember Moreno, Councilmember Morrell, Councilmember Green, and Councilmember Thomas voting affirmatively. And then I will move on the certification as presented by Mr. Spivey, seconded by Councilmember Morrell. Same 5 affirmatively casting their votes as yeas. Thank you very much, Mr. Spivey. Councilmember Green moves to adjourn this meeting. Councilmember Moreno seconds. All in favor? Aye. 5 yeas, no nays. We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.